Have you ever felt alone or isolated? Felt like you were in a hopeless state and no one could really understand what you were going through? Our God is a God of new, a God of understanding and provision to meet all our needs. Let's look at Isaiah 43:19. And it says, "Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." And it starts off with this word behold. And I love the word behold there because it's the idea of surprise, look, see here. And God's getting ready to show off is what it says in this particular verse. And if you look at what's going on in the grand scope of things, it's talking about redemption for Israel and that he's our redeemer. And if we look at that, this idea of look, surprise, I'm going to do something new and something exciting. And it says, I will do a new thing. And if you read the verses just before this, verse 18, it says, do not remember the former things. I'm going to do a new thing. Don't remember the way it's been. How many times have we gotten to a place where we're sort of stuck and we don't know exactly what's going to happen, or we have a fear of change or fear of the unknown, and so we're in a position where we're looking at things and we're saying, I don't see what God is going to do. I don't see a hope. I don't see a change. I don't see something happening that's going to be different than what it's been before. And so I'm kind of stuck in this rut, and God is saying, surprise, I'm going to do something new. And on top of that, he's telling you, do not remember the way things have been. Do not remember the way things were. This is going to be new. It's going to be fresh. It's going to be a completely different situation than what you've had before. Behold, I will do a new thing. And it's not talking about I'm going to do a new thing way in the distant future. It's talking about that, again, that word behold. Look, pay attention. I'm going to do something new, and I'm going to do that something new now. We're getting ready to do a new thing right here where we are right now, and I love that. And then as I talked about in verse 18, the past evidence, things that have been in the past. He says, I have redeemed you, fear not. I have redeemed you, fear not. I've taken care of the problem. I have paid the price, fear not. So now this is Old Testament, but it's talking about not only a current situation in the Old Testament, but he's also talking about, we can look at this and we can look forward to what Christ has done for us in what he did in the New Testament. But it's, I have redeemed. I have paid the price. You don't have to be afraid. And it sets the idea that I don't have to be afraid no matter what. No matter what, I've got it handled. No matter what, it's going to be taken care of. No matter what, you don't need to be afraid or worry, because I'm going to do a new thing. I'm going to do something that's different than what you've seen before. And pay attention, look here. This is what's going on. And so he says, again, verse 19, behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? So it shall spring forth. It's going to bubble up. It's going to burst onto the scene. It's going to be something that's going to happen that is happening because God is doing it, not because of anything that you've done, but simply because God is God and doing God things, right? And so you've had past evidence of what I've done. You have past evidence of these things, but this is new. You don't have to be afraid. And it's going to work no matter what. You don't have to fret and stew about what the situation is, because no matter what, God says, I'm going to take care of it. And it's looking ahead. It's forward thinking. Surprise, look forward, look here, pay attention. I'm doing a new thing. And it's looking ahead. And when we look ahead with God, we have hope. I'm looking ahead and I can see the old versus the new. And he says, he says, I will even make a road in the wilderness. So I'm going to make a way where there hasn't even been a way. Something new. It didn't exist before. And in the old ways, you had a wilderness. In the new way, you have a way. In the old way, there was a desert, but in the new way, there's going to be rivers. And so we get stuck in these ruts again where it seems like nothing's going to change. Like, well, it's just the same old thing all the time. It's never going to change. It's always going to be like this. It's old and we're stuck and there's nothing new that's going on. And we get really stuck in that. And human nature is kind of that we like things that stay the same. We don't like change per se. I mean, there's things that we have that are changes, and we like those changes. But for the most part, what we like is what we're comfortable with, what we're used to, what's been the same. And God here is talking about a change in terms of sameness, right? The Bible is teaching us that there's old and new. There's things that are the same. God says, I'm the same yesterday, today, and forever. It's talking about his character and his integrity and how he's gonna be consistent in those things. But this is, this new thing, this new idea is I'm gonna change it up. And is my character gonna be the same? Yes. Am I gonna be reliable? Yes. Am I still going to be a redemption? Yes. Am I going to take care of, my promises to you? Yes. But the new thing, let's be really honest, the new thing begins inside us. It's when the new thing happens in us. And, all the things that the children of Israel have gone through, all these different things, and he's getting ready to do some blessing and talking about some blessings and stuff for them. But it's the idea that in the middle of the same, there's going to be new. In the middle of the desert, there's going to be rivers. In the middle of the wilderness, there's going to be a road, and there's going to be a way. There's going to be a passage through. And God's kind of asking this question. So who's unreliable now? Who is it that's not trustworthy now? Who is it that can't be counted on now? It's I'm going to do this new thing, but I'm going to change it up. And when we look at that, we have to focus on new. And I entitled this lesson Understanding, so it's a series new. The lesson is understanding. We have to understand that God is going to make a way, that God is going to be our solution. God is going to be our provision. And we get wrapped up and we get anxious in our hearts and we get anxious in our minds, maybe even anxious in our spirit with worrying about what God is going to do and whether it's going to work out and how do I see this? And what we have to understand is that God is telling you, I got this. Whatever it is, I got this. You don't have to worry. You don't have to fret. You don't have to be concerned because I've got this. And you can't see a way. You're looking at the wilderness going, I can't see a way to deal with this. And God's saying, I got a way. In fact, I'm going to make a way where there wasn't one before. And, so there's going to be a path, there's going to be a road to walk, or there's going to be a vision that you can have of where you need to go. And it's going to be based on this new thing that I'm doing. I've had the opportunity, and I'm not very good at it, but I've had the opportunity on a couple of occasions to help cut road on some property that we owned, and cut in some road. And it's quite an experience when you start making something new where there wasn't a way before. You get new perspectives. You maybe you refresh some things that were there that you didn't even know were there anymore, or maybe you get a new view of things, an option to see something that you couldn't see before because you're cutting in this new path or this new road. My father-in-law used to love to cut in forestry roads. They would hire him sometimes to go in and cut in forestry roads, and he really liked doing that. He thought that was just absolutely fantastic. And so you're making a way where there wasn't a way before. And it also talks about a river in the desert, in the dry place. You know, have like I said, have you ever felt alone or isolated, or that you were hopeless? And that's what the river is in the desert. It's the river, and it's the Spirit of God. It's the blessings of God. It's those things that come in and touch the dry spots within our soul, within our spirit, and it refreshes them and renews them. And we have a new hope and a new optimism and a new set of things that we can look forward to because God is doing something new. And he's showing off a little bit, right? You thought there wasn't a way. There is a way. Let me show you what it is, and we'll make it work. And we come to this place where we begin to understand what God is doing. We just get a glimpse. We start to understand what's happening, and it's exciting, right? It says. When we begin to understand these things, it's about your future. Your future, God's telling you that you have a future with Him that's new, that He is going to make a way where it wasn't there before. Your human nature may be to fall back on certain sins or allow certain things to trip you up or cause you difficulties, but God is talking about a new future. The things that were wilderness for you before, there would be a way through them. The things that were dry and difficult and desertish, guess what? There's going to be water and refreshing and resting, and there's going to be things going on there. And it's going to be a surprise to you because it's going to be maybe something you haven't even thought about yet. Maybe more exciting than what you can even imagine. Right? That's what he's trying to convey in this verse. And I don't want to overstretch this to, to something completely outside of its context here. But I get excited when I read God's word, whether it's Old Testament or New Testament, because it's all God's word. It's all God's promises. And, and it helps us understand God's nature and character. And when we understand God's nature and character, we start to recognize just who He is. And the most important thing I think for us to understand is that we can trust in God. We can put our trust in God, and we can build on that for our future. We don't need anything more than to just trust in God. So he's telling you, I have a future in mind for you. I have a plan for you. I have a hope for you. And when we're in the kind of the pits of despair, if you will, we don't always recognize that. We don't always recognize that, there is a hope that God is doing something that I can rely on, I can trust in. I have hope, and I have a way that I haven't had before. And that's exciting. And it's about my future, but it's also because of what He is doing. It's what He's doing now, what He's doing today versus what I might think is possible. That's one of the things that I've often really, I guess, felt bad for people because they lose hope. And, He is our hope. He is our strength. And when we lose hope, it's because we reach that place where we can't see the way. We can't see that there's a change, we can't see that something's going to be different. And we're blinded to what God is doing. We're blinded to what God has done. And we don't remember that. If you look in the New Testament, when Timothy is going through some stuff, and it's like, remember remember your grandmother, and remember, what you've seen happen. Remember the things that have taken place. Sometimes we have to remember what has been in order to see what will be in the future. Sometimes we have to remember what has been in order to recognize God's hand in something. And so when we get stuck in a rut, and I think the first time I heard it, Pastor Barbie was saying that, a rut is simply a grave with the ends kicked out. And that's kind of the situation. When we get stuck in a rut, we can't see a new thing. We can't see surprise look here. We can't see God moving because we're focused and stuck in this rut. And, it's like, well, God, don't you see I'm in the wilderness? And there's no way. And he says, but I'm going to make a way. And you say, but God, don't you understand? I'm in the desert. It's dry and hot, and I don't even have water to refresh me or restore me. Or in a spiritual sense, God, I can't even feel your spirit right now. I feel so alone and so left out there without anything. And he says, you know what? There'll be a river. There'll be a place. There'll be provision. There'll be a restoration, an encouragement to your soul. And so it's understanding that God cares about your future. God's got your future in his hand. He's got that under control. And it's also something you can hold on to because of what he is doing, because of what he has done, because of what he is doing. We can trust him. We can look to him. We can look for the new thing that comes from God. And then lastly here, it's understanding that it's what he's talking about is proven by what he has already done. And for us living in, New Testament times, if you will, there's the fact that God has already paid the price. We've already seen the work of the cross, and when we accept it and we hang on to that, we have an understanding that this new thing that he's going to do, this new provision, this new situation that takes place, it's understanding it is about our future. It's because of what he's doing, and it's proven by what he's already done. In other words, he has a track record that already shows what he has done for us, that we can already rely on. So when God says things like "fear not," well, we don't have to be afraid. Why? Because God's already done this. We don't have to be afraid because it's already done. It's already taken care of. Even though I might not see it all, maybe I might not understand it all, what I can understand is that God has it. What I can understand is that it's been taken care of. Now, this series, New, is not one that I just, pulled out of my ear or whatever. I was praying and asking God, where we were going to go with this whole new thing, this new mountain ministry moments, and my relocating and all of those things. And there's a lot of new stuff I'm having to deal with, but it didn't come from that. It came from what I felt God was telling me that I needed to talk to you about. And by definition, anything I'm talking to you about is things that, God has been talking to me about as well. So I'm not exempting myself from this. But the idea of new in this series is that we get a handle on trusting God, and that things do change, that things are going to improve, that God sees our whole situation, that God is our provision, and that there should be reason for hope, and reason for an excitement, and reason to look forward to what God is going to do because of what he's doing, as proven by what he's already done. So we have all three pieces to that puzzle, past, present, and future, going on at one time here, where my heart needs to understand what's happening. Now, from a technical standpoint, we're still working on cameras and settings and lighting and sound and all kinds of things that we're working on with the new Mountain Ministry Moments. And so this series will have a few, bugs and glitches as we kind of work through that anew and see what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. But I hope you'll stay with us, and if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe so you'll get these videos sent, notice of them sent to you right away when we post them up. And we'll get a little tighter on our schedule on that as we kind of work through these. Next, I don't know, probably 2 months worth of series of things. You'll see things change. We'll get the production side of it a little better. There's a lot of new things for me to understand in that as well. But the series is really about understanding what God has done, what God is doing, and what God will do, and that is our hope. He is our hope. That's where our hope rests, is within Him. We need to learn to rely on God for whatever we need, and not stress and not fear and not worry, but trust. Trust in God. Why? Because He's going to take care of it. Trust in God because He's going to do that new thing. Trust in God because He's already proven His love for us, because He's already redeemed us. He's already paid the price for our sin. And the enemy loves to come in and create doubt and fear and all of those things within our hearts. And we can simply say, you know what? I trust in God because He's going to take care of me. He's already proven that He's going to take care of me. This is already evidenced by what's happened, and I can trust my Savior. And devil, you can just shut up because your accusations, they don't mean anything. God's already taken care of that. And going forward, I don't have to stress or worry or fret because God's going to take care of it. It's going to be handled because God's got this, right? So, new understanding. Allow that to speak to your soul this morning. Allow that to be something that you recognize, you know what? God does have my back. God does have me in the palm of His hand. God cares about me, and the things that I need, He's going to provide. The things that I need, He's going to take care of. And the whole picture is more than, do I have a new car, or do I have a reliable car, or do I have a good job, or do I not have enough money, or do I have more money than I need, or whatever those things are. The most important thing is the condition of my heart, the condition of my soul. It's what is going on in my ability to trust God. What is going on in my faith? Can I rely on God? And He says, you know what? Surprise, I'm going to do a new thing. I'm going to do something that you haven't seen before. And there's going to be a way where there wasn't. There's going to be refreshing where there wasn't. There's going to be hope where there wasn't. And don't be looking back at the past. Don't be looking back at the past and seeing the former things, the way things were. Look back at what I've done, that kind of past, but don't look back at the things that have tripped you up and troubled you and been your problems in the past, because that's not going to happen anymore. We're going to do a new thing. We're going to have something new going on. And then we have a new hope and a new reliance on God and a new trust in God. And that's the foundation that we can build on for a new future where we have a new hope. And that's so important, is that we have hope. The Bible says without a vision, the people perish. And a vision is really a path to or something new. And without that, we get stuck in sameness, we get stuck in a rut, and we lose hope, and we start saying, oh, nothing will ever change. God says, nope, I'm going to do something new. I'm getting ready to change a whole bunch of things. It's going to be great. It's going to be new. It's going to be special. Look, pay attention. And I got this. And it's proven by what I've already done. But I've got this. And you can rest assured that there's going to be a way, that there's going to be what you need, that you're going to be taken care of, that I'm going to be right there with you all the way down the line. And as we understand that, it's very freeing. It's very hopeful. It's very refreshing. So remember, it's about your future because of what he's doing as proven by what he's already done. And that's it for this week.